What is going on, YouTube? It is Primitive here, and today I'm going to be bringing you the finals of the store championships that happened at J&J's just a few days ago. Now, this is going to be the last store championships that we're having here in Colorado, at least for this second wave. I'm not sure if we're getting a third wave or not. I haven't seen any information about that, so this might just be these players' potential last chance to get their invite. Neither player here has scooped up their invite just yet, so they're both playing here, really trying to scoop up this last invite without any guarantee of being able to get some more store championships in the future. Now, getting into this, the Jesmon player obviously is going to be having a decent advantage in this matchup by playing the delicate plans. The security control deck is really built upon having that security come out and being able to do things on your opponent's turn, such as the ultimate flare. We saw the Wyvern's Breath come out to take out that Huckmon, and so with that delicate plan coming in and being able to go for multiple checks, especially with the stack that we see right now, they have the Greymon be able to give the security attack +1. They also have the Savior Huckmon so that they can unsuspend. So if they do go into the Jesmon and have the delicate plan, they are going to be able to swing 3 checks right now thanks to the Greymon and the tie. Unsuspend, swing 3 more checks, and then potentially be able to go into an Omnimon. But we did actually just see that Huckmon put a delicate plan to the bottom of the deck. I do believe there are only 2 in the list total, so that means that one of them is likely shut off for a pretty large part of this game. Obviously, we can get a lot of cycle going in this deck, and since it's such a long game, you may potentially be able to hit that delicate plan once again, but putting one to the bottom right now is not going to be the best. That does mean you're likely going to be searching for that second one and only have 1 copy left, so we are going to swing no delicate plan coming out, but you are going to be able to swing for the 2 or 3 checks and then unsuspend, but hits the Iron Fisted Onslaught right away. So that Holy Wave was able to come in and put an Iron Fisted Onslaught, being able to help a bunch. Going to run into the Magna Angemon there, so the Huckmon does go down. The seal comes out, can't attack. It doesn't really matter if you remove the Huckmon off the board, just because without it being a Blanc, you can't have blocker anyway. And then even if you did have the Blanc, which we saw played now, having the Huckmon's not going to be too important because there aren't any Digimon on the opponent's side of the board for them to actually be able to attack. And then the Gvelsch form is going to come out right away, put the Huckmon player at 3 and clear the board, so a bit of a neutralizer. The Jesmon player did feel like they were quite ahead, getting up early, being able to get that perfect stack, but without the delicate plan and swinging into the ultimate flare, things seem to have switched quite a bit here. Now reinforced memory boost going to come out. We know that there's a Zwart defeat on top. No real reason putting the Gvelsch former in there and the Zwart in your hand, because the Gvelsch former is just going to go to your hand anyway, so might as well get that Zwart defeat on the board. And this doesn't get stopped by the delicate plan anyway, so no matter what they do, this check is going to come in and hit that Zwart defeat. Looking in the trash for the Sistermon, which means that they probably don't have one in their hand, and gonna go for the Blanc to draw a card. Gonna be able to unsuspend with the Savior Huckmon and going for multiple checks, going to Ultimate Flare. So the security coming in super clutch. We're really seeing the downside of not hitting Delicate Plan. When you're missing these delicate plans and going in for these big swings, there's just so many cards in the security controls deck that can take out a wide board. If they did go for the Sistermon seal there instead of the Blanc off the swing, they could have had a Digimon that costed 4 and lived off of the Ultimate Flare, but now getting 2 checks in thanks to Tie and Matt on that Zwart defeat and just hitting a couple ties. Now that is obviously quite unfortunate, because once they get back into a Jesmon stack, they will be having security attack +3 plus the regular check. And then if they have the Greymon underneath, they could have security attack +4, so we could see a really big Jesmon coming out. But other than that, the ties aren't too scary. Just having them bring out doesn't threaten too much. We just saw them Digivolve in a Goonimon in Raising, so that's one less Agoonimon they have to worry about coming off of a Tamer. And going into the Savior Huckmon, so doesn't have the Greymon, but does have the Savior Huckmon and the Jesmon, meaning that it's going to be having security attack +3 thanks to those ties and being able to unsuspend. But we are going to swing 2 checks here, swinging with the Magna Angemon, boost up to 5, and then just drop the Bushi Agumon for the game. Now that is John's special tech in the security control. He is playing the 3 Bushi Agumon, and his motto is Bushi for the win, so was able to get the Bushi for the win there. I do think that if they didn't get that Bushi to go in for game there, then there was going to be a high chance I think Jesmon might have been able to take it. If they hit the delicate plan, they were going to be able to swing so much, but I really do think the Jesmon got quite fortunate in their luck on hitting those security into the Iron Fisted Onslaught, into the Ultimate Flare. There was just so much going on that these Jesmons were being set up absolutely perfectly, but being shut down by these option cards. And once again, really showing the downside of not drawing those delicate plans. It's so important in this list. So we're going to see the Huckmon come out, not putting any delicate plans to the bottom this time, so that is good. Going to think about what they want to get, if they want to get 2 Sistermons or grab that Savior Huckmon. I think the Huckmon is going to be good. It's one of the more important cards in the list. In my opinion, when you have a Jesmon that doesn't have the Savior Huckmon underneath, it is quite weaker in my opinion, just because not being able to unsuspend really slows it down. Let's say you have the Voltramon underneath there to give it security attack +1. You'd be able to swing a couple checks, but without being able to unsuspend, you're able to, you play into things like blocker and stuff like that. So getting the Huckmon out of that other Huckmon instead of the second Sistermon is going to definitely be good there in the long term of this game. We did see a Sakuyamon just get hard played, which does shut down the Jesmon a little bit because they will be able to promote, but they're going to have the negative security attack. But it did just give so much memory to the Jesmon deck, and that's just so much memory to give them. They were able to develop 2 rookies, get the Tamer out, and really just have a nice board going. Those are going to be blockers. That Sealmon would have been a blocker, but now it's removed off the board. Sakuyamon's going to come out, or the Jesmon's going to come out, but Sakuyamon's going to give a security attack -3. Does have piercing, but there isn't, it has negative security check, so it's not going to be able to attack, but being able to swing so they can get the blonks out, get the draws. It doesn't really matter if you leave your Digimon suspended or unsuspended in this scenario, just because there are no big Digimon on the opponent's side of the board, so if they're going to remove it, it's going to be through an option card anyway. So wanted to just promote, get rid of that Sakuyamon, get a couple Digimon on board, and get that cycle going. I do like the play. It's going to be really hard for you to get rid of the Sakuyamon in general, just because you don't really have the removal to get rid of something that big. But man, that Huckmon comes out and putting 2 delicate plans to the bottom of the deck. Like I mentioned earlier, I do believe that there are only 2 delicate plans in the deck, so both of those going to the bottom does shut down a lot from this deck. If you play a bunch of Huckmons and draw and stuff, you will be able to get back into it, but man, that's a pretty devastating Ultimate Flare right there. No seals on the board, so nothing's going to live. Gonna de-digivolve down to a rookie, clear off all the rookies. So Ultimate Flare really showing the power of it. This is a card that I advocate for a lot in security control. I see security control players cutting down to like 2 Ultimate Flares, so I really think you should be playing the 3 to 4 just because it is so good in these wide board matchups. Like we saw, being able to clear so much. Once again, another Sakuyamon coming out, so just gonna go ahead and get that negative security attack going on the Savior Huckmon, Digivolve into the Jesmon, and once again Judgment of the Blade coming out, playing the seal, or the Blanc, swinging, and then playing a seal so that they could get the extra memory and a draw there, plus now having the blockers in the Sistermons. So that was just a pretty good play. The Sakuyamons are being answered. Obviously, the Sakuyamon is slowing down the Jesmon deck quite a bit by making it so they're not getting these huge checks, but you are giving the Jesmon player an incredible amount of memory when you are hard playing these Sakuyamons. You more likely want to be playing things like Magna Angemon and then Digivolving into it. There's a lot going on here. I'm kind of losing track of what cards going into the hand, what's not. So it looks like we saw 2 Huckmons and then the rest going to the bottom, really trying to just get what cards that they need. I do think that they are in a pretty decent position as it is. They've really been able to kind of just cycle through the board. We've seen a lot of removal go, so the chances that you get Ultimate Flared again right here is going to be pretty low. Obviously, if they do have it, is going to be quite annoying, but just going to go with the Iron Fisted Onslaught. Don't have the Ultimate Flare, so that means we're going to be having 4 rookies on the board staying, and 2 of them, or actually 3 of them, are blockers. So if John does decide to play something like a Zwart Defeat comes out of security, or they play the Ornismon, we'll be able to block those security checks. Tyne Mac coming out. There's the Ornismon, so not going to be coming out this turn. Wyvern's Breath going to take out the seal, so the Blanc will stay. Decided to take out the Sistermon that was unsuspended and could attack instead of taking out the Blanc that has the blocker, just because the blocker tag is slightly irrelevant right now, and then the seal being able to go in for that last check and clear would be quite unfortunate. So do understand wanting to take out the seal there, even though the Blanc does technically have a bit more of a threat to it, just because the Blanc can block. But getting rid of the seal also buffs up your Ultimate Flares, because seal is the only card that's really going to be living from an Ultimate Flare after it gets de-digivolved. So unless you digivolve on top of like the Huckmon and then also go into Jesmon, then your board's likely going to get cleared from the Ultimate Flare. But we've already seen it coming in. Another Iron Fisted Onslaught, going to go ahead and pop them both because they are 3 drops there. So clearing off the board, but We will see what's I think they just drew a delicate plan, so we saw the 2 delicate plans go to the bottom of the deck, but they've already drawn all the way back into it. Going to swing and then unsuspend and swing for game. The delicate plan didn't matter there because the check was the Magna Angemon, so being able to unsuspend and swing in for game anyway was going to be able to take it there. So going into it, Huckmon turn 1, once again, a very big staple of this list. Gonna grab what I believe was the Blanc and then a Jesmon. So has a Sistermon, has the Jesmon to build up. You really need to try and find the Savior Huckmon though. Like we talked about earlier, being able to have the Huckmon, or the Savior Huckmon, so that way you can unsuspend your Jesmon is going to be much more impactful than really any other ultimate that you can get, especially in this matchup, because there's going to be so much security coming from this list. They're going to be able to play things like the Magnadramon or the Reinforced Memory Boost and all that to recover, so you really want to be getting as much checks as possible. So I do believe that the Savior Huckmon is going to be the most impactful card here. Going wide with rookies though, 2 Guilmon to be able to draw when attacking, 2 Blanc that drew, and then a Agumon in the back, so a lot of consistency coming out there. Did hit the tie, so that is a little bit unfortunate, but the thing is, as this deck goes so, or has such high costing cards that really your opponent going to 3 each turn doesn't matter too much, just because you're probably going to be putting them at over 3 regardless, just by playing your cards. But by giving them the tie, they do get the extra security attack, which when it comes down to the late game might be a little bit annoying. So thinking about what they want to do there, just going to go ahead and hard play the Magna Angemon to recover up to 6. We're going to see what's going to come in. Hits the Reinforced Memory Boost, and then hits the Ultimate Flare. So there goes the board. That is the card that they are definitely trying to hit. The Iron Fisted Onslaught also would have been able to take care of it there, I believe, because they are all 3 drops. But the Ultimate Flare coming out was able to clear off 4 rookies there. If that was the first check, it would have been a little bit more devastating, but we did see them recover up with the Magna Angemon, and that was a Reinforced Memory Boost, so now you can gain that memory. Gonna go ahead and pop it right now. Digivolve into the Sakuyamon on top of the Magna Angemon, which is something that I do very much agree with. You now have the Sakuyamon on the board without having to give your opponent an incredible amount of memory. I don't understand why they hatched there. They do have a yellow source on the board, but looks like Jesse was just going to let it happen anyway. I think he was thinking that he wasn't able to play the Reinforced Memory Boost because of no yellow source, but did have the Sakuya, so completely irrelevant. The eggs are going to be mostly irrelevant in this matchup in general because there aren't I don't believe there are Salamons in this list. There are just the Bushi Agumons, and you're looking more so to play those than to Digivolve them, so did see a little bit of a misplay there. Probably shouldn't have let John go ahead and hatch his egg, but as we saw, didn't Digivolve anything on there, was just doing it for the color source, but once again, that was not unnecessary because the Sakuyamon is the color source, so just some friends, letting them be friends. But getting back into the match, we saw the Jesmon promote, so it is going to have security attack -3. So right now it does have the boost from the Tai, the Greymon, and the Voltramon there. So gaining that security attack +3, but then getting security attack -3 thanks to the Sakuyamon. So right now it is doing the 1 check. It would have just its neutral check. But then we are going to, they're just discussing here that the checks should be happening, but no other Digimon was played this turn because it was just Digivolved into the Voltramon. Then we saw the Gravity Crush, Digivolved the Jesmon, and then Digivolve into the Omnimon. So there were no cards played to gain Piercing this turn. So just going to go over the Sakuyamon, get it off the board, but still not looking in a good position. Going to clear and have no checks left. Security Control still has 5 checks. If you can de-Digivolve this Omnimon, you probably get rid of it. Going to see the Izzy come out and gonna put the Bushi Agumon to the top. So now we know that next turn there is gonna be a Bushi Agumon drawn. So if this, if they're not able to win next turn with this Omnimon, then you could be in trouble. You will have multiple checks to be able to come in with the Omnimon. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough, though. Once again, it's going to come back to Savior Huckmon. We don't have the Savior Huckmon, so the Omnimon can swing for 3 checks right now, thanks to the Voltramon and the Greymon buffs. Not going to be able to get the Tai buff because it is not a red Digimon. So it could swing for 3 checks, but then that would still leave 2 checks. Even if you played the Sistermon and then played the Agunimon on top of the Tai, that's not enough checks to get rid of it. Was able to get rid of the Ornismon, but both players know that the Bushi Agumon is going to be drawn because it was shown on the Izzy, so gonna have to be looking for a Sistermon Blanc. I think is really the only thing that's going to be helping you here, because you will be able to get blockers, so gonna have to see if they hit it. Playing the Huckmon, that's going to show to me that they don't have the Blanc in hand, and going to be searching for it, but not hitting the Blanc. No memory on board, no way to gain memory unless there is more Gravity Crushes, but I don't believe that even the Gravity Crush is going to be enough, gain you enough memory there. So with no Sistermon, the next turn you can just go into the Reinforced Memory Boost and play the Bushi Agumon and go in for game. Once again, the Bushi for the win, as John's favorite motto is. So we're gonna have to see if the Jesmon player can hit. Nope, no Blanc coming out. Turn's going to be passed. We do know that the Bushi Agumon is being drawn right now, was put to the top with Izzy. Reinforced Memory Boost to 6, Bushi down to 1, and that is going to be the game there. Congrats to John for sealing up his Nationals invite. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, because I'll be having more BT6 content coming to you. But with that being said, that is going to be today's match. I hope you have a great day, and peace out.